What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast. Now, I'm Alex. In this video, I want to discuss if Birds of Prey is going to ruin Black Mask and Zsasz. Now, these are two characters, and this is a movie in general. We talked about this movie a few weeks ago on the channel. I talked about some of the things this movie cannot do. And here we are. We're only around a week before the movie releases, and honestly, in my opinion, and these are only ever my opinion, you guys have every right to disagree with me, I believe this movie is moving closer and closer and closer to those worrisome things that we talked about. Specifically, and for the point of this video, is their treatment of Ewan McGregor as a person, personally, I believe, and also his performance as Black Mask and Zsasz. It's no secret that Birds of Prey is focused on Harley Quinn. It's focused on girl power. It's focused on female empowerment, which is fine. Never have said it's not, never will say it's not. It's totally cool. I love Harley Quinn. I think Margot Robbie did a great job in Suicide Squad. I'm excited to see what she can do here. I want to see her in The Suicide Squad. So nothing wrong with that. But really, any interview you've ever seen with Ewan McGregor talking about it, or even Margot Robbie and the director and in general for this movie, it's about females being empowered and kind of stepping on males. Again, now we've seen this trend in movies over the past, I'd say 2, 3, 4 years of this kind of thing where men kind of just get pushed aside in terms of like female empowerment, which is fine to have female empowerment, but it doesn't have to mean that the man gets like spit on and pushed away. And you could say, well, we don't necessarily know for this Birds of Prey. Well, okay, as it goes on, even Ewan McGregor has kind of said, this is a movie about that kind of stuff. This is definitely an SJW kind of movie. And there's nothing wrong necessarily with that being the case. The problem that will lie in it is when we see the movie and the villains suck and the villains have no, there's just nothing about them that you can't connect with them. They're not good. They're not even powerful. They kind of seem like jokes. That hurts. And I feel like that's what a lot of these movies forget about, is they focus, and again, we don't know. This is all speculative. I don't actually know this one way or the other, but from everything that I've read in interviews or seen in trailers, my prediction is this movie, just like a lot of other movies, say like Charlie's Angels, it's so focused on showing you that females are cool and females can do all of these things, which obviously they can. Nobody's ever said they can't, but they're going to push it so much, and then you know what? They forgot to make an actual movie. They forgot to have a storyline. They forgot to have character development. They forgot to have actual good scenes. Charlie's Angels was a disaster in every single way. Why? Because Elizabeth Banks was too worried about not seeing another Spider-Man movie. And is this the same thing? No, not necessarily, but it's the same kind of family of problems, of trouble. Because I think this movie is going to be so focused on showing this female squad, kind of like, just a group, a Suicide Squad, whatever, Justice League, but if they were all females, right? I mean, in this case, Birds of Prey, adapting that. They're going to show what these people are like in this movie, which is fine, but I hope this is not the case, but I feel like they're going to go so hard in focusing in on showing how great these women are that they may forget to do the rest of the movie, which is insanely important, because without that, it's just all earning brownie points on Twitter. It's getting people talking about it. It's getting articles. It's getting YouTube videos being made. But then when it comes down to it, who's going to see the movie? Who's going to see it after week 1 when word of mouth goes out and says, yeah, this movie sucks, don't go see it. And then, yeah, maybe the first week it does really good, but then it drops like 75% week 2, which is a really bad drop. That's something that could very realistically happen. And again, I know in this video, titled, I think Black Mask and Zsasz are huge parts of that. Firstly, let me be flat out honest with you. This could lose a lot of your trust. I didn't know Zsasz was in this movie. I didn't know his friend after seeing, I think it was the second trailer they showed him. I never looked into it to know. I didn't know that was Victor Zsasz. And let me tell you, I'm not happy with how they're doing it. Just from the trailer, just from the very few clips that we got to see of Zsasz, I'm not a fan. I'm also not a fan, honestly, of Black Mask. I want to like the character. I want to hope that Ewan McGregor does a really good job, and I really enjoy his performance, which maybe we will, but if he also just sucks, and if he's also kind of just bad because he's bad, or he's got bad motivations, or he just wants to, quote-unquote, control Harley, which is a lot of the people talking about it, like, oh, it's just another example of a villain wanting to control a character. Well, yeah, and you know what? If that's done purposefully to make him be a bad person or like a bad character or a weak character, that sucks. I don't want to see that. I would want to see... Black Mask has never gotten good treatment in any Batman thing. We got to see him in the games. He was given a terrible treatment. I don't want the same thing in the movie. I don't want to see a good performance maybe, but just like oh man, he's a laughable character in like a bad way. Like he's not intimidating, he's not threatening. He's just a side thing. He's not even like a main reason why this movie's happening. We're focusing in on the girls. And then Zsasz, it's like, okay, they have a relationship. You know, Ewan McGregor has kind of hinted at. It's like, why? When has that ever been a thing? Why is that a thing? Are you going to really make a big deal out of that in the movie? Don't you have better things to do in the movie than to do that kind, like to ship those two characters together? Is that something you really want to spend time on? And I'm not anti anything, but it's like you gotta tell a story. You gotta have a movie with characters, and we're in an age where like villains have to be good. It's not the early 2000s anymore where villains are just bad because they want to destroy everything or rule everything or whatever. That doesn't make a villain good. It never did. And now that we've kind of gotten more sophisticated with villains that actually have motivation, and you could actually see, oh, the villain's role or the villain's motivation is just a slight tweak on what the good guy's role is, or whoever the protagonist is. That's all a villain is. That's great. We've entered a much better age of movies over the last, I'd say, 10 years, maybe even longer, of really developing our villains. And to me, this movie is, I think, going to take a huge step back. Not that it's going to, influence the rest of the, the movie experiences or just movies in general, but I think it's going to be like, oh, we're kind of used to seeing like a Thanos who made a lot of sense in Infinity War, not in Endgame. But we're used to seeing, and I'm just talking about like superheroes, the DCEU, ever since Man of Steel, I think has had some pretty terrible villains in general. To be quite honest, I don't think Black Mask is going to buck the trend. I think it's going to keep it very consistent with very not good villains. So I am very worried about this movie. I'm excited to see what happens because there is so much, not necessarily drama, but there's so much going on around this movie that I definitely want to see what happens or see what people are saying, see the movie myself, all this kind of thing. So next week we will be covering this movie when it launches. We'll be having more discussion-like videos on the movie. Make sure you guys are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And let me know in the comments of this video any Birds of Prey videos you want me to make when the film comes out, and I will definitely do that, okay? So thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you all on the next video.